Hey, what's up guys, Rev here. So today we're going to look at a couple different stories involving news media, and I think you're going to find them very interesting because our main story represents a big win for anime and manga fans, a day of revenge because Vice is spiraling right now. They are in dire straits. So a few days ago, I shared this story with you guys. It was announced that Vice will be cutting its hollowed program, Vice News Tonight, which is a big deal because that program was their bread and butter. It is what made them worth billions. It was their main staple of their company, and that is now gone. And in the process, they laid off 100 of their employees, in which laying off 100 of your total 1,500 employees, that should tell you how serious things are getting. Well, today, I come with an update. Things continue to get even better. The celebration has continued because yesterday Vice announced that they are preparing to file for bankruptcy. That's right, it is a day of celebration, ladies and gentlemen. This company, once valued at over $4 to $5 billion, is in dire straits. They are at their financial end right now, and they announced that over the coming months, they will be reaching out for buyers to come in and save their company through acquiring them. And I think I speak on behalf of all of us when I say, I hope nobody extends a hand to help them because Vice has completely tarnished their reputation over the past couple of years. They went from a very respected media source to one that has become a complete joke. They were a group that had reporters going into the most dangerous places in the world, going into active war zones, contacting groups like the cartels, going into dangerous areas where they risk their lives to bring us stories that really no other news media outlet could do. They really were risking it all to share these interesting and unique stories with us. And nowadays, they've completely flipped. They have gone, for all intents and purposes, gone woke and spend their time covering things that only brain-dead, terminally online Zoomers would care about. Like, their 50th article about how anime is literally going to destroy the fabric of society. I grew up watching tons of Vice news stories. I genuinely looked forward to them because I knew I was going to see something that probably nowhere else could provide. I would see stories of them going into dangerous parts of the world, and I was not only fascinated by their courage, but I was fascinated by what I was seeing because it was something that I was truly, completely exposed to. It was something I never would have known about if it wasn't for Vice News. I remember watching their documentaries on North Korea. They had reporters going into North Korea under fake aliases, risking their lives to get footage, unseen footage of North Korea at the height of tension with their country, and getting interviews with Korean citizens. All of this, risking their lives, risking being tortured and killed, all to bring us a story that we would not have seen otherwise if it wasn't for their bravery and courage to go out there and do it. And nowadays, they become an absolute joke. It is embarrassing. Vice is an embarrassing company. They are only a hollowed shell of what they used to be. I mean, just look at how they have treated the anime and manga industries over the past couple of years. Vice has worked tirelessly to demonize and villainize those mediums for purposes that are largely unknown. I mean, who could forget their hit piece on the manga industry, labeling it as pedophilic and calling the members of the industry pedophiles, and that they are committing violations on children by producing their fictional content. And that's not the only one. I mean, they have countless articles demonizing the most trivial of things. They have an absolute hard-on for attacking anime and making it to be some horrible, terrible thing when in reality, it's all fiction. And it's a stark contrast to the kinds of stories they used to bring, like the ones I mentioned earlier, that involved real human beings, people in real conflict, in real danger, and now they're resorting to this garbage. I really hate this phrase because it's often used in very cringe ways, but the whole go woke, go broke thing is proving to be very true. Vice is a great example of that, and they are one of countless media groups right now making huge layoffs or completely shutting down because they have completely lost their audience. They are trying to appeal to a bunch of Zoomers who probably don't even care to enjoy their content or participate in any sort of way to begin with. They're appealing to a demographic that really doesn't care. They just want to bully people into making the kinds of content that they want. But that's not anything new. But yeah, I think we can all join together and say, rest in piss, Vice. I hope no one saves you from this bankruptcy. I hope you collapse, because you have made so many enemies over the past couple of years and tarnished your reputation that you worked so hard. So many journalists worked so hard to build up over the last couple of decades, and now it's gone. And honestly, it's time to put Vice out of their misery. But another funny story, let's change it up here. Now we go to Fox. Basically, this article is just chef's kiss. It is perfection. It says, the Red Cross urges gamers to obey laws of war while playing first-person shooters. Even wars have rules. And I read the article, and it is an absolute dumpster fire. The Red Cross has now joined the United Nations in an international group that can't tell the difference between fiction and reality. This is like the weirdest thing I've ever seen. You want gamers to obey the laws of war? First of all, like, let me get kind of the technicality. Do you think that young people, especially, gamers, are going to know the laws of war? Like, where would they understand that in the first place? And more importantly, why should they have to apply that to a fictional setting? Do we want to start applying the laws of war to all mediums involving fiction? You want to apply it to movies, cartoons, anime? Oh wait, they actually are trying to do that. They're trying to treat anime and other fictional characters like they're real human beings. But that's something that we've seen with United Nations. And now you have the Red Cross trying to treat video games like they're based in reality. And yeah, it is quite the fall off. And anytime I start seeing an international organization attacking fictional things, fictional mediums, yeah, I'm like, what skeletons do you have in your closet that we're going to find out about over the coming months? Because that's what history is telling me. But I want to end this video on a bit of a different pace here. This is something I found very interesting. There is an article out there going over Geoffrey Hinton, the godfather of AI, who has recently quit Google after working there for over a decade, expressing his regret over his life work in warning of the dangers ahead. And he says, I console myself with the normal excuse. If I hadn't done it, somebody else would have. And some of the quotes coming from him, they sound like Oppenheimer, like the I am now become death, the destroyer of worlds, like this regret after creating a potentially very dangerous technology. Like when Oppenheimer made the atomic bomb, I think he knew that something bad would happen out of it, right? And same thing with creating AI. Of course, there's a possibility it'll advance to a dangerous level where it could backfire on us. It's not exactly a surprise, so it's like a weird cope. But I think, as much concern as this headline is causing, I think there's a lot of ways to kind of console yourself. Like, think about the internet, for example. Everyone thought the internet, well, not everyone, but there was a portion of people out there who thought the development of the internet marked the end of the world. Like, it was going to get out of our hands. The technology was going to advance so far that we couldn't control it, and it was going to turn on us and eat us alive. And the same thing has been said about a lot of different robotics and things like that. But AI could be said to be the same way, but AI definitely, one thing I think we can all agree on, you don't have to be an expert to know that this technology is developing a lot faster than people ever thought it was going to. But at the end of the day, look at some of the examples. Like, people will be like, oh my God, the movie industry is dead. Look at AI. It's completely taken it over. And they'll show you a clip of like the most horrible looking thing that doesn't look real at all. And it's like, as close as it sometimes seems to get, AI just still falls short at the moment. But, just think about how much it's advanced over the past year or so since it's exploded in popularity. But it is concerning, though. It definitely is concerning when a person considered the godfather of AI comes out and basically says, I regret my life's work and there's dangers ahead. I think it's something important to note, and it's interesting to see an article pop up on your timeline that basically warns at the end of the world. But I thought that was worth sharing. I think it's an interesting topic, one that I'm not an expert in, so I like hearing other people's opinions on it. But that's going to do it for this video. I know there's a couple different topics, so express all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.